like she's been sitting with this one all day. I've moved 11 times. Different cities, different houses, different neighborhoods, different people around the table. And every time I moved, I thought, maybe this one. Maybe this is the place that finally feels like mine. And every time, after the boxes were unpacked and the pictures were on the wall and the neighbors knew my name, something still felt slightly off. Like a radio that's almost tuned in, but not quite. Close enough to hear, not clear enough to settle. And for a long time, I thought the problem was the places. It wasn't the places. There are people who move through their entire lives feeling like a guest. In rooms they've lived in for decades. In relationships they've been in for years. In families they were born into. In their own skin, even. Not unhappy necessarily. Not broken, just never quite landed. Always a little bit outside the glass looking in at a warmth they can see but can't quite feel. And the story they tell themselves, and the story everybody else tells about them, is that they're restless, that they're seekers, that they just haven't found the right place yet, the right person, the right city, the right circumstances. But that story is a way of locating the problem somewhere outside of them. And the problem is not outside of them. They means it home is not a place. I know that sounds like something you'd read on a pillow at a gift shop. Bear with me. Home is a felt sense of belonging inside yourself. It's the experience of being in your own life without the low-level hum of wrongness underneath everything. Without the sense that you're performing a version of yourself that's slightly adjacent to the real one. Without waiting for someone to notice you don't actually belong here and ask you to leave. And some people never develop that felt sense. Not because something is wrong with them, because something happened, early usually, that interrupted the development of it. They learned, before they had words for it, that who they actually were was not quite acceptable. Too much of this, not enough of that. Wrong in some way that was never fully named, but always somehow communicated. And so they learned to adjust, to read the room, to become whoever the room needed them to be. And they got so good at it that they can walk into almost any situation and fit in. But fitting in is not the same as belonging, and they know the difference. They feel it every time. The adjusting is the thing that follows them. Because when you spend enough years becoming whoever the room needs, when that is just how you move through the world, you lose track of who you are when nobody needs you to be anything. And then you walk into a new place, a new relationship, a new life circumstance. And instead of arriving as yourself, you arrive as a question. Who do they need me to be here? What version of me fits in this room? And you find the version, and you wear it, and it almost fits, but not quite, because it isn't yours, it's the room's. And that slight wrongness, that almost but not quite, that is what follows them from city to city, relationship to relationship, decade to decade. Not bad luck, not restlessness. The simple fact that they never learned how to arrive anywhere as themselves because they were never entirely sure who that was. She lets it. There's a specific loneliness that comes with this. It's not the loneliness of being alone. It's the loneliness of being surrounded by people who think they know you, who love the version of you they have access to, and knowing that the version they love is real, but it isn't complete. There are rooms inside you they've never been in. Not because you're hiding, because you're not sure those rooms are safe to show. Because every time in your life you opened a door to one of those rooms, something happened that made you think, close that back up. That's not for out here. And so you keep the outer rooms warm and well lit and welcoming. And you live in those rooms with other people and it's good. It genuinely is good. But the inner rooms stay dark. And you are the only one in them. And that is a particular kind of alone that has nothing to do with how many people love you. So what does it take? It takes, and I'm not going to pretend this is simple, it takes deciding that who you actually are is worth the risk of being known. Not performing vulnerability, not announcing yourself, just slowly, in the places that feel safest, letting a little more of the real thing out and watching what happens. And finding out that most of the time the sky doesn't fall. That the people worth keeping don't leave when they see more of you. That the rooms you thought were too much for other people to handle are actually just rooms. And the place starts to feel different. Not because the place changed, because you arrived in it more fully than you usually do. That's what home is. Not a city, not a house, not a person. It's the experience of being somewhere, anywhere, as yourself. And you can start building that from wherever you are right now. You don't have to move again.